need us.
Good morning, everybody. Today I finally have a day off work where there's nothing else I have to do, which happens to me like once a month, by the way. So I just want to hang out and play some Tekken. I was going to go online and try and push the ranks a little bit higher, but you know what? Playing ranked can be really stressful. It sort of drains you, and I'm having such a nice day. It's like sunny outside. I have a good cup of coffee, so I thought I'd do something a little bit different today. I've been thinking for a while that I want to pick up a new character. I'm basically shopping for a new main, let's say. I usually play 2 characters at a time. That's my system. So I'm going to be dropping Katarina for the time being. But then again, she's so simplistic that you can put her on the back burner. And then when you come back to her, it's going to take you like 15 minutes to remember exactly how to play her. So... and I'm obviously not going to drop Miguel because I love that character too much. But I haven't decided what character I want to learn yet, so... I thought maybe it could be a fun little video to involve you guys in that process a little bit. One of the most common questions I get on the entire channel is, how do I decide what character to play? How do I know what character would suit me? And so on. And that's so subjective that it's difficult to answer. I mean, the short answer is play what you love, but I can involve you in my process a little bit here, and you can see how I would go about that. So you usually just jump into the roster and poke around here. And honestly, it's a tradition at this point, more or less, that the first thing that happens is I decide to pick up Raven, and then within about 5 minutes I decide to not pick up Raven. The amount of times I've been like, this is going to be the weekend I finally learn how to play Raven, and then it doesn't happen. It's insane. But it's probably the character I love the most, let's say, out of all the characters I don't play. I'm very weak to the sort of fluffy aspects of character design. So if a character looks cool, if they have a lot of personality and energy to them, then that usually I haven't noticed that before, but that kanji on her shoulder says death. That's actually really lame. That reminds me of I saw Suicide Squad in the theater with my Japanese girlfriend when it came out, and that reminded me of the character of Katana. I remember my Japanese girlfriend was so embarrassed by that character, and she was like, oh my god, it's so lame. And I was laughing myself to tears in the theater, and it is to this day like genuinely the most enjoyable movie-going experience of my life was watching Suicide Squad. I love that movie, maybe not for the right reasons, but we were having so much fun watching it. Anyway, Raven obviously is like one of the coolest looking characters in the game to me, and I honestly think she's kind of beloved by the community. Not a lot of people play her, but I don't think anybody dislikes Raven. She feels very honest. She's kind of advanced, kind of technical, and whenever you run into a Raven online, I think it's like a joy to play against too. She's just really cool, and I think at least a really honest and just powerful character. Not one of the best in the game, but definitely not one of the weakest either. She has famously good damage and so on. This is a good 10 frame. I think this wall splats, which is really great. Let's see if that's true. Yeah, it's a wall splat 10 frame. That's uncommon. Very, very good. First thing I do when I jump into a character and look at them like this is I try and remember how to perform a couple of bread and butter combos. And that's not, a lot of high level guys will tell you that you're not supposed to focus too much on combos when you're practicing. You should focus more on stuff like movements and setups and stuff, and I think that's very true. The reason I love to go for combos first is it gives you a nice little feel for the texture of the character. You're going to be performing those combos a lot, and if they feel fun, if you sort of feel like the wall carry and the wall conversion feels cool, then it's going to go a long way towards you staying interested in the character. Raven has sort of weird launchers. She doesn't have anything too standard. I think this is the most standard thing she has, but it like goes into back turn and it's all weird and shit. She doesn't have a hop kick, but she has this thing, which is similar, I guess. And then like you're trying to intentionally whiff this while fishing for launches from downtown. But I think like what does she combo? She does stuff like this, right? Let's try and remember. Yeah, and then you can get those insane damage wall enders. Let's try and get one of those. Look at that. That's probably not even a good combo, and it's like 92 damage. And this thing, obviously, signature move, super cool, super awesome. I mean, these combos are not actually that difficult to perform now that I'm thinking about it. I mean, she has this image of being kind of advanced, but that wasn't difficult to do. And look at the damage; it's so good. Actually, kind of intuitive. I love that 4-1 for the wall carry because you get the back turn that you need to end with this, which is really cool. I think what you do if you wall splat just point blank is you go into manual back turn and then you do that. I think that works, but let's try it out. Yeah, it works fine. It wasn't the right ender though. There you go, at really good damage. Super cool. Another thing I love about Raven is I think this low is amazing. When you go for like a chunky low on a lot of characters, you usually have something that is on the slow side enough that it's semi-seeable, and then if you get blocked you're going to get launched. Now this won't give you the knockdown or anything like that, but it will give you a very respectable chunk of 21. It can't be ignored by the opponent, but even if it does get blocked, you're not taking that huge of a risk. So I think this is an extremely good compromise, and in return you get some amazing range, good tracking. I think it hits grounded, which is really cool as well. And then when you counter hit with this, I think the up forward 3, yeah, that's like guaranteed 41 damage, which is really good. I think you can run up and do another one. Yeah, for the same 41. So I love this low. I think it's a really good middle ground. It kind of rides that balance of not being too risky, but not being, fast or light enough that people can ignore it. This down 3 is like one of the fastest low pokes in the game, by the way, like bar none. I don't remember exactly, but I think it's something insane, like 13 or 14 frames to impact. I've seen some people for a wall combo, actually, they'll do stuff like, and I think that down 3 is so fast right there that it's actually guaranteed. And I love having those unscaled, or 80%, grounded scaled hits at the end of combos that reset the combo counter, because it's like a nice little hedge when you're converting combos and stuff, because you can get that unscaled, really chunky hit at the end, and that's going to shore up your combo damage when you're doing iffy conversions a lot of time, which I think is really cool. I think the reason whenever I try and pick up Raven I end up not doing it is the whole back turn shenanigans thing. So really, I think the sort of skill cap of Raven is that you have to spend a lot of time in back turn, and you're going to go into back turn off of some of your main moves, like your main mid, right? And when you're here, like when you've transitioned here, you need to make a very clutch decision every time, because you can't stand here and wait. You can't hang out here because your back is to the opponent and your beautiful shiny butt is pointed towards the screen, and you're gonna get blown up if you don't make a decision and move right away. You first of all have to react to whether or not you got the hit or you got the block, and then you need to know exactly what you want to do, and that is something that I think takes a lot of time to sort of get into with Raven. It's something that you need to build up a sort of muscle memory and instinct for, and when you do, that's when I think you start to play some very decent Raven. That takes long enough that the initial learning process of picking her up is kind of arduous though, and I think that's why I end up giving up on her whenever I give her a shot. This thing is the move that you intentionally want to whiff rather than get blocked when you're fishing for the launches downtown. This move, super cool. Her rage drive is very powerful as well. It's a version of this, right? And then she's a crouch dash character. You can snake dash with her if you want to, which I think is cool. I really like, if I'm out here and need to end the round, if I just do something like that, it's such a long range fast low that you can really stress people out with that. She's dangerous from a range, and then if you remain in crouch, you obviously have this thing, which is like one of the best knockdown lows for a full crouch mix-up in the game. You just need to make sure that you're fully out of crouch before you do it. You can't sort of cancel into crouch. You kind of need to hold down and just wait and then do it. Otherwise you're going to get haze stance instead, I think. Yeah, you sort of get the haze if you do it too early. But very powerful. And then I think, I'm not 100% sure because I'm not looking at the frame data right now. I should be, I guess. But I think her while standing one is 14. So it's above average speed. I'm pretty sure that might be 15. But if it is 14, then that's really good. And then you have some serious launching power there to mix this up with. I mean, most of the time you'd probably be using mids like while standing 4 anyway. Maybe the 2 counter hits, but what kind of damage do you get off of this actually? That should work, right? I'm sorry to all you Raven mains who are watching me like just butcher these combos right now. It's probably painful to watch, but maybe we'll do this. Yeah, it's decent enough. Like, that was probably not even close to ideal, and it's almost 90 damage. I think a cool thing with her is, like, you need to learn how to judge the distance so that you can get a back turn transition and get that back turn combo every time you're converting to the wall. Because when she's face forward like this, I don't know that she has that much powerful stuff for the wall combo. I don't know what's best. I know a lot of people like use like 1-2-1+2 and stuff, but that seems really weak to me. Another cool thing that I forgot to mention about the back turn is that the big change in Season 2 is obviously that they gave her a back turn 1+2 these armor properties, which is really cool. I think it might alleviate that stress of learning how to work with Raven's back turn that I talked about earlier, because like if they want to swing into your back, you can sort of armor through that, and whether or not I think that move is good is going to depend on how minus it is on block. I haven't looked that up. I would assume that this is somewhere around -12 or -13. That's what I think would be reasonable. I think -11 or -10 would be very good, but fine. It can't be launch punishable, because if it is, then the move isn't useful. It's way too difficult to use, and if it's safe, I think it's overblown. But you usually don't get safe armor moves like this anyway, so I'm gonna assume that it's like -12 or 13, which I think is very reasonable. So that's probably a reason that she's more easily accessible now when you're using back turn than she was before. Then you have her low launchers. You know, I'm not a big fan of the snake edges, but I think both of Raven's options, the back turn down 3 and the crouch dash 2, are actually kind of honest, because they not completely honest, but they're honest, more honest than your standard snake edge, because they come out of a stance, which means that the opponent can react to the stance, and then they sort of become part of a mix-up when they're not reacted to. And I think that makes sense, because then you like you know, you need to mix in mids like that to make it happen. You need to do a weird combo for this, right? You need to do something like a really fast 4-4-4, I think. Even faster. There it is. There it is, yeah, it's really cool. I love that combo. I love that ender. Not completely guaranteed, but you need to sort of... I made a video about it actually. You can... this 3 Attila 4, you can perform a 4-4-3. You hear that sound? And then you can buffer the Attila 4, and she will cancel that automatically into the move. So you can hear the sound effect of this before she goes into the cartwheel when I delay it properly. If you listen to it right now, see that? And then the sound effect comes out and she does the other move. I think that's really cool. I didn't know that Tilda moves work like that before I learned that about Raven. But yeah, what a cool character. Probably not going to be end up being the one I play this time either, but you never know. Let's jump back to the roster and see what else is sort of piquing my interest today. I mean, we're talking about like character honesty, so weird topic. I mean, you know, to each his own and everything else, but a character that I don't consider to be that honest, but that I'm really sort of interested in, is actually Ana. Ana is like she's like a Rushdowny character. She has like 3 different snake edges, and they're like the best snake edges in the game too. You know, she's all over the place, but I honestly love so many things about her that I've been tempted to pick her up for a while, because I think first of all, like the visual design of her in this game with the dress and everything, it's just like one of the coolest, like most beautiful characters to look at. And for an old character, they tend to have these really stilted, shitty-looking animations and stances. If you look at her sister Ana, her arms look like these fucking wooden planks, and it's just awful to look at. But with Ana, you actually have a lot of this like sort of pretty fluidity, and like the clothes and everything. And she just looks amazing, and there's a lot of fun factor. This stance is amazing to me. Chaos Vagu. She just gives you the Chaos Vagu, and if you try and kick into it, then she launches you with an automatic parry. She can do cool stuff like, you know, the 2-3. I think this is like a 10-frame punish, and she kicks her leg like that, right? And you hold that back, and she snaps the leg and goes into the stance, and it just looks really cool. And then she has all kinds of crazy moves when she's in there, like that mid and stuff. Yeah, the counter hit that she has. and everything else. I think the combo game for her is really intuitive, except that she gets a little bit creative at the wall, but I think what you're supposed to do is stuff like this. And then for the wall carry you do like that, and then it's like... And then you give them the ass smash for the final hit, right? That's good damage. I guess the reason you don't want to use that is it can't cross the opponent up. But doesn't she have like... Don't people do this nowadays? Let's try that and see what happens. Looks really weak for damage. But I bet you can delay it and get 60% scaling on the final hit. I bet that's what people do. Let me know, Ana players, is this what you do? There it is, look, and you get 80, okay. That's actually pretty cool. I love when you have to do the little delay for the 60% scaling on the final hit. You do that with Eliza. You do it with a couple of characters I don't play, like Brian, obviously, famously. What else does she do? I mean, Chaos Vagu into all kinds of shenanigans, obviously. I don't even know what you do for the combo here. Maybe that works. Let's try that. Oh, sorry, it's down for, not down forward for. Look at that. That's really easy to do. There you go, that's a combo. 59 damage before the ender is a very powerful, obviously. I don't think it's a super useful move though. I mean, most of the time you're launching with this, right, and that, which gives you kind of reasonable damage, unless you're using her like insane low launchers. And I mean, this is the thing, like, I don't like low launchers. We talk a lot about it, like, whatever. I mean, I'm kind of desensitized to them lately. Everybody, you know, just play whatever way you feel like, but this thing is so insane that I don't think you can play this character without using it, because it's just a legit low as part of a mix-up. It's fast, but look at the range of this thing. The range is like so easy to underestimate. I'll see like an Ana crouch at me from like this range and I'll be like, there's no way she can hit me with a low from there, and then she just like full on launches me with this thing. It's so powerful, and I think the combo is similar to what we just did for that other move, right? Oh, now this is the version where you need to do the down forward version, right? Like that. I think that's it. Yeah, look at that. With the delay, yeah, look at that damage too. What a crazy move, what a crazy good move. But I think like her full crouch mix-up is completely legit, and I don't think you can not use this move because of how good it is. And then I think the one thing that I really don't like about Ana is the insane like jab string that she has that is all over the place, because you have like literally something like 20 different extensions. You have like 1-2-1-2, 1-2-1-3, 1-2-1-4, 1-2 down 4. You can start it with 2, and you can, you know, party all over the place with that jab strings. I like to jab a lot, so that would take me a lot of time to have the patience to learn how to navigate all those jab strings. But yeah, and then her down back 3. This is like just a straight up snake edge move, you know, but it's one of the more difficult ones to block, in my opinion. It seems to be. And then there are actually a couple of characters in the roster, unfortunate bastards like Gigas and Kazumi, who can't launch punish this because it's actually not that minus on block. I don't remember how much, but I don't think you can launch if your fastest while standing launcher is 18. So maybe that means that this is minus 17 or something. I don't remember exactly, but I think that's true. Don't quote me on it, but definitely let me know if I'm wrong. But it's like one of the best versions of this move archetype in the game. Obviously very dangerous to use anyway. But overall, just a really cool character. I mean, I love the way she looks, and I love the animation of moves like this. I think her main ender is this thing, right? So if we were on a non-wall stage, I would probably do that. Oh, that works for the wall carry as well. And you get 63. That's cool. Yeah, and I love her crouch dash options. She has some really cool stuff here. The counter hit for the 1, of course, very powerful. There you go. Super easy to do, super intuitive character. Just looks amazing. She can set up her Rage Art at the end of combos, but I don't think she wants to because she can get such good damage from her Rage Drive. What is the anime? I think a Rage Drive is maybe... Is it like Crouch Dash 3+4 maybe? No? That's the chain throw. There it is. It's Crouch Dash 2+3. And then if you get that at the end of a combo, I think you can... what's her armor move from Crouch? There it is. It's full crouch forward too. You can get that guaranteed, and you see that doesn't look very powerful maybe, but that's with rage. But that's 27 damage right there, so that's huge. So that should be like a guaranteed ender for her at the end of the combo, I think. Like she can do this. Look at that. Yeah, really cool. So again, probably not the character I'm going to end up going with, but I have a sort of guilty crush on Ana. I think there's a lot of cool stuff about her. Maybe I'll check her out at some point. I love Chaos Vagu. It reminds me a lot of Savage, and you know I love Savage. Maybe we should have a look at Josie. It's another little side hoe of mine that I've considered many times, but I never ended up actually using. She's unique in the way that she doesn't really have those standard fast mid pokes. She kind of like tries to go into a mix-up at a switch every single time she pokes the opponent with stuff like, I think it's standing 3, and then you can like standing 3-2, but then you can cancel that into crouch dash. I mean I basically haven't touched her since I did the tutorial on her, which is like way over a year ago at this point. But let's try and remember some stuff. Let's turn off Rage and turn on All Guard. So what does she do? Right, it's like... And then you can just do that string 3 times. I think what you're supposed to do for the wall ender though is... I think it's like 2-4 switch 4. Yeah. That's really good damage actually. It's not really good, but it's good, and it's definitely not difficult to do. And you can get like extended carry if you use stuff like I think it's crouch dash. Is it 3-1 or 1-3? Yeah, it's 1-3. So you could do stuff like there you go. I could have delayed that a little bit more and it would have been really good for wall carry. Right? Yeah. I think the reason I didn't connect was because of the wall, but who knows. I guess the one thing I don't like about Josie... I love this thing, by the way. Wow, I would love a move like this on Miguel. It would be amazing. I really love this move, and I love the Rage Drive version of it. When you get that in certain combos and you deal like 120 damage with her, it's really cool. The one thing that's really powerful about Josie that I can't really stand, and the reason I you know, you have those things about a character when you it sort of triggers your OCD kind of thing, and for me it's this thing. This is like one of the fastest while standing launchers in the entire game. I think it's 13 frames to impact, so it's amazingly good. It's another one of those moves that you can't not use if you're going to play the character, but then the combo is somewhat difficult to do. It's difficult enough that, I mean, with practice you can probably get it 100% of the time, but I'd at least be worried that I was going to drop it. So I block a low, and I'm going to be, you know, here and thinking, should I go for this and try and get the combo? Maybe small chance that I mess it up and drop the round, or should I just like collect something weaker? Or, you know, if it's specifically 13 or 14, then I can do the hop kick from crouch anyway. So if I want to launch, this is my only option. So I would probably just have to lock myself in a room and practice this until I could get it completely consistently if I was going to play this character. Let's see if we can get it a couple of times here. It's not that hard, right? There it is. Yeah, so it's not that hard, but it's like, it's hard enough that it would, like I say, trigger my OCD and make me worried. And when I want to do combos in this game, I want to feel like the only reason this drops is like if I literally mess it up, like my hand slips or I completely mess it up somehow. But I want to feel that I have a consistency in my in my combos, because I want to get that stress element of being worried that it's going to drop like out of the picture. The next character I want to look at is maybe a little bit surprising, but I've really been thinking a lot about Bob lately. I think Bob is like so underplayed. Like, I never see Bob online. I think I've played less than 3 Bobs in the last like 2 months online, but this character is obviously very cool. I think he's kind of slept on it. He can be really powerful, but I also feel like he needs to take a lot of risks when he plays. You know, he can be really punishable when he uses some of his most important moves. The big thing about Bob that makes his character design unique is that he basically doesn't have any launchers, which is really interesting. Like, you don't have a hop kick. Well, you have this, but it's really slow. You don't have like a down for 2 or something like that. You have this thing for your fastest launcher, which is like a weird, slow, evasive crush move. You know what I mean? And that's like, this is your most standard launcher, and it's this weird thing that gives you a bootleg combo. But then again, that forces you to focus on other aspects of your gameplay, like poking your opponent down, looking for counter hits, and he has good counter hits. I mean, this thing is amazing, obviously. But a friend of mine who doesn't play Bob but knows, you know, you have those friends who spend all day in practice mode and know everything, talking about the changes to Bob's rage drive and how it's really cool. So I've been thinking I wanted to try that out. Another thing that would be wild for me, obviously, is I've never had a hell sweep. You know, I've been eating hell sweeps for my entire life, but I've never performed one, more or less. It would be really cool to finally be the guy who gets to apply a hell sweep every once in a while. Very, very powerful, launch punishable, of course. MBC, who's probably the best Bob player that I know of that you can watch online. I mean, he might be one of the best players in the world. He does a lot of like grunting and screaming, so his videos can be difficult to watch sometimes, but he's such a good player. And he will crouch dash in, and then he'll just do hop kicks out of the crouch dash for his mix-up for the hell sweep, which I think is a cool idea. But that obviously only works because he's playing against such good opponents that they are attempting to react to the hell sweep every time, and then he can catch them with the hop kick. But how do you combo with Bob? I mean, the combo I used to do looked like this. I don't think this is very good though, because you get like decent damage, but you can see that the wall conversion potential is really low there, and you're actually supposed to do more like stuff like this, because then you can use that for the wall carry ender, and then he has this thing, which I've learned is actually guaranteed as an ender. You do get the 11 damage for the last hit, completely guaranteed if you do it properly. And it's really easy to run into, because as long as you let go of the forward input before you press 4, you can delay this really late, and it becomes super consistent. So you can do stuff like, I guess it would be like this. Yeah, and even if the wall wasn't there, that would be completely guaranteed with the plus 11 for the ender for really good damage. So I think that's cool. And even when you do one of like these, you know, he has a lot of launchers that will just spin the opponent on the first hit, like counter hit crouch dash 1, right? And counter hit, what does he have that does that? He has a couple of them, but like meatball 2, I guess. And in those cases, you can genuinely just do like a 4-4-3 and then do this move, and that's like completely solid combo damage, impossible to mess up. So in those situations where you have a spin, you don't know how you want to convert, you don't really know what you want to do, if you just run up and do this, you can collect like premium damage and you don't have to worry about much at all. I love this string, obviously, the safety hit on the 4 there that you can delay, which is beautiful. Good down for the one, but I think this is even better. Counter hit down 3-4 is like his gimmicky big risky move, but how much damage is that? That's 80 damage, right? That's crazy. That's really crazy. So you can, if you're at the end of the round and you think you're about to lose anyway, maybe gamble on this and collect 80 damage out of nowhere. What else does he have? Oh, I heard that they turned this back into, this used to be a bound move back in the day, so you could do these baller combos with this in your combo. And I heard they actually turned this into a spin move. Let's see if that's true. Look at that. So the the really baller Bob combos are officially back in the game. What do you do here? Maybe Look at that. Super cool. I mean, this character, again, one of those characters who just animates beautifully, has a lot of fun stuff about him. I'm really tempted to start abusing Hell Sweeps because of how much I've had to suffer through them in my life. His jab range has famously been very good, but it's nerfed in this game. It's still decent. And then he has the Lariat, of course, like the golden gap closer. If you get it near the wall, I think it'll splat, but if you get it near the wall but it doesn't splat, that move is actually guaranteed. If you get it at that range, you know, where it's not quite splatting, just spikes them, this thing, the down 3+4, is apparently guaranteed. And then the sidestep version of the Lariat, which is amazing at the wall. Let's see if you can still do those re-wall splats with him. Like, yeah. That worked really well. Well, it dropped, but let's try it again. There you go. It's cool. It still works. Yeah, what a cool character. He has a magic 4 that I think is actually kind of easy to combo off of because you can do this, right? And you can probably get better damage there. Maybe crouch dash 1 if you're fast enough. Yeah, that wasn't hard at all. I'm sorry, there's road construction right at my house. If you're hearing that, I'm sorry about that. He also has a throw that turns into a combo, right? And I would do, I mean, I say I used to. I've never played this character. I did a couple of games on him around the time and did the tutorial on him because I wanted to learn a little bit about him, but I've never actually sort of played him in any serious way. But I think what I used to do when I made the tutorial was something like this. Just looks really cool. What a cool little combo. But I think you can actually, if you're fast enough, get crouch dash 1 after the throw. Yeah, look at that. And that's another fun thing for me. You know, I don't play crouch dash characters at all, so it's going to be an interesting thing for me to add to my repertoire. Starting to do fast crouch dashes and even, you know, maybe some wave dashing could be really cool. Yeah, what an interesting character. What does he have for lows? This thing is obviously very good. The banana peel. And what else? I think the down back 3. What a good low poke. Huge instep. I think it gives you really sexy counter properties. Amazing stuff. Oh, and then his punishment, right? They buffed this thing, right? So I think it has better frame data than ever, meaning that I think this is the ideal option for 10 frame. But I still like the 1.4. That's 24, but fast, solid, good frame data. And then if you want a mid for the second hit, he has the 2.1. And then you can tack on the 4 there, and if you get the 4, I think you still get guaranteed back 3s for really good damage. So solid options there. And then obviously like the best, one of the best, maybe the best 12 frame ever in the game, the 4-2-3. What an amazing punisher. Like this, every time somebody hop kicks, gives you the sound effect just to let them know not fuck around with hop kicks. But he sort of needs very powerful punishment because I said in the beginning he doesn't have any fast launchers, right? So he needs to have good stuff for fast punishment because he doesn't get the launch. So, you know, when somebody does -15 stuff against him, he needs to be able to do something to really scare them. He can do this gimmicky shit and charge up and stuff, I guess. That extension is punishable. I think they buffed this move and they buffed this little weird move, meaning that I think this is actually a cool option for floor breaks now. You can do that for a high damage floor break in a little combo. I guess that spike is good enough that you might want to use this for just a standard wall ender and then chase them on the ground, stuff like that. Yeah, just overall, I think Bob is one of the characters that is appealing to me the most right now. But yeah, I mean, this game is so good. I mean, look at this. I'm just looking at all these different characters, and there are these amazing, amazing things that I don't even know about, and it's so much fun to just explore. I mean, what a good game. It's like infinite value. Look at how many different games you can play here. Every single character is basically a completely different and unique way of enjoying Tekken. It can't be overstated just how good I think Tekken 7 is. I'm going to jump back in because I forgot to check the rage drive, which is one of the things I was really interested in looking at because of what my friend told me about this move. Basically what he told me is that they've changed the input to make it easier to use, and then they've made moves come out so much faster out of the meatball transition that you can get a guaranteed meatball 1 in the rage drive. And if that's true, then it's going to be a really useful and cool move. So theoretically I should be able to excuse me, if we turn on rage here. Oh, it's over here. I should be able to spin and then do this, go into the meatball there and get that 1 guaranteed, and that's 14 damage, I guess, with rage, so that maybe it doesn't really count. How much is it without rage? They need to be on the ground, so it's 80%. So what's 80% of 17? Let's just knock them down and find out. It's 13. Okay, so you get a guaranteed 13 at the end there, which is really, really good. So this is going to be a powerful combo ender. So say, for example, I do something like that, that really cool unblockable combo we did earlier. Something like that. A little bit too slow. You probably need to go fast to get it out. There you go. That's 94 damage. And I didn't even use the wall. That is really cool. And I guess it should work if we just like do a normal combo with him, like maybe something like a hop kick. Look at that, that's 75 plus 14, so that's 89. You know, I love this about some rage drives when they turn into versatile tools, because he can use this as a, you know, move looking for damage and a very decent chunk of damage at the end of the round, because, you know, it's a good long range solid mid and everything. But if he gets a launch and he needs extra damage to push for the win, he can use that there, meaning that it has a lot of that versatility that you get from, it's not as good, but, you know, Asuka's rage drive, Dragunov's rage drive, Heihachi's rage drive. They can use those moves fishing for a very powerful, safe mid, but they can also use them to extend a combo at the end of the round to take the round. I typically play characters who have lackluster rage drives in that department. You know, Miguel's is a decent launcher at this point, still struggles for range, isn't very useful, and Katarina's is an extremely high damage combo ender, but it only really works at the wall, because then its damage just scales out of proportion, so it's like obviously meant to be used only at the wall. But with this thing, I mean, anytime you spin off of anything, you can just convert that into amazing damage, because of the if it is completely true that the meatball 1 is guaranteed right there. If it is, it's going to be, I mean, you could do crazy like cheesy setups with this. Say for example that, because you can transition into forward meatball from this thing, right? Like if I do what about this, for example? Okay. Oh, I need to turn off Allguard there. If they eat the mix up and they eat the low here, for example, no, sorry, rage needs to be on and Allguard needs to be off. And then with the reset, oh look, it works. That's crazy. That's really, really cool. And if I use the rage drive on top of that, I mean, how much is it going to be? Does it work? It does. Wow, that's 74 at the end right there. That's going to be like that, coupled with the fact that you have these like crazy dramatic unblockable combos, the fact that I like I'm going to hell sweep and I'm going to get to do these cool crouch dash moves that I never get to do. Yeah, I'm really liking Bob at the moment. His ball game is great. This lariat is just a very ergonomic, cool thing to use. Jab, jab, sidestep lariat. This thing, right? At the wall. Yeah, I think maybe I'm actually going to be settling on Bob, because he's just really inspiring me right now. Seems like a lot of fun. So I think I'm going to wrap up the video here. I know it wasn't like a super interesting video where I give you a lot of information. It was just kind of me talking, but that's sort of the process I would go through when I'm trying to decide what character to pick up. And I think here at the end I'm just going to jump online and have a quick game with Bob, and maybe include some gameplay footage at the end. So if the video, like if you look at the progress bar of the video, if it's not over yet, then there's probably going to be a little bit of gameplay at the end. But I think for now I'm just going to go full on speed and weight and drop Katarina for Bob. So If you're interested in following my process, learning this character, then check back in with me. Maybe you should pick up Bob yourself and we can learn him together. But I'm really looking forward to it because this character just feels like a lot of fun to me, and it's underutilized. He's underutilized, so there's a lot of fun stuff to explore. Thank you so much for watching the video, guys. If there is gameplay footage at the end here, then I hope you enjoy it. But thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll see you guys again very soon. Bye bye for now.
Round one. Fight. Round three. Fight.